It's a very interesting topic, and that we can definitely apply some class analysis to it, or as much as I can apply class analysis to it. Nil 1917, first time chatter with a really good chat, and I saw that I said I was watching TikToks earlier. Well, I saw this in the TikTok as well. What about the 300 migrants who died in Greece? Who cares for a bunch of rich assholes? I wonder if the fish will be able to open the can. Well, fish don't have fingers, so they can't. It'll be hard. I wasn't sure if I wanted to use that as an example. The boat that sunk in Greece. I don't know if I want to cover that, because I don't want to be a news channel. I don't want to be a news person. But yeah, it's a parallel that's striking for sure. Nil 1917. Thank you. Pyroanarchist Lenore says the same thing. All right, I thought it was I guess it's a very popular talking point. Haltosis says reality flies in the face of our culture. Immigrants are bad and they are supposed to suffer. Billionaires are righteous and blessed by God and they are supposed to live well. It really exposes the vacuous nature of our morality. I guess people want to talk about this, eh? Let's talk about it. So, the submarine with rich people that was going to the Titanic has been lost, and I'm pretty sure they're dead. Pretty sure it crashed and it's dead. And I really don't care for this news that much. Far from it. I think there are two reasons for this news is kind of hype. One, it's rich people. It's important people. Two, it's a very scary way to die. And all right, there's a third one as well. Third, there's kind of an ultimatum, right? There's a race against the clock to find these people. So we're on a constant cliffhanger as news consumers, right? So we got like the perfect mix of everything. We've got important people. We've got a really scary situation, which is like at the depths in a really small, like cramped place. Then you put yourself in the shoes of these people, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I would never live like that. This sounds nightmarish, which it is. And then third, well, are they going to find them? Will they or will they not? And then there's this whole kind of you want to follow the story to understand what's going on, and then there's oh my God, the submarine was actually not that great with like a Logitech controller. The submarine only unbolts from the outside, so they're stuck. Even if the submarine was somehow got to the surface, and now they're just waiting on people to come to rescue them. The submarine is bolted from the outside, so they can't even get out to get air. So we got a really precise time frame. If we don't get them by Thursday, they're dead, if they're not already. So that keeps us on the. It's like a show, right? It's kind of entertaining, but it's like real life, so it's also very scary. And to me, the interesting part, the only interesting part of this story, all right, and it's the only interesting part, and that's the only reason why I'm talking about it right now. I was trying to find a reason to talk about it, and here it is. To me, the interesting part is the class dynamics and how we're treating the story, right? People have already said in chat, and it's a couple of people, I saw videos about it this week or last week. There's a boat full of migrants that sunk on the coast of Greece, killing, I believe, hundreds. And we hadn't really heard about it. The only time we heard about it is because it's being contrasted with the submarine. With how many people are there? Like 6 people? That submarine looks like it was built in some dude's garage. Hey, that's where Microsoft started. That's where Apple started, and look where they're now. So why wouldn't the submarine that brings you thousands of feet underwater, like why couldn't they do that? Here's Guingia with a really good analysis, which I will steal and I will use in my segment for this video without quoting them whatsoever. so that people think I'm smart, so they follow me. What's sad is I feel like because of awful situations happen to people in lower classes all the time, or economic classes all the time, they get less concern and attention. But stories like the submarine gets insane amount of attention because the people in it are of higher economic status. Exactly. So to go back to what I was saying, the only interesting part about this story is the class dynamics and how we treat that story according to the class dynamics that are present in the story. Here we have high class or higher economic class people dying, or right now being stuck. And usually these people are untouchable, or at least we see them or we perceive them as being untouchable. And maybe there's a sense of comfort to know that even them can face tragedy. It's not only us, the rabble, who can face that, right? Here we have people of higher status, people who don't have a problem in the world because of all their money, or so we believe. Yet they're living some of the most traumatizing, and traumatizing for not that long because they're gonna die, but and dramatic and deathly situation one could get, right? It's kind of relieving to see that no matter how much money you have, you too can live drama. And I think there might be some elements of why we are attracted to that story. But there's also this other element to it, which I want to address. So some people have been making fun of these billionaires, these rich people, dying in basically in their own luxury, right? Their luxurious thrills, as Temer calls them, is what basically led them to their deaths. And because of that, a lot of these pesky leftists out there, some of them are making fun, some people are laughing, some people are happy, some people are joking. I think I saw Pyro Anarchist make jokes about it. And I think on my own Discord, some people were having that discourse. And we're going to talk about sympathy for the rich. I think it's fine to see the human elements and see, all right, they might be rich, but they're still humans, all right? They might be rich, but there's families and genuine hurt and genuine drama that goes behind this situation. And I also understand that take, right? But here it is, the but. I don't care for it that much. And I'll give you an example. First, caveat, if they had died from a senseless murder, right? Then it could be a bit more dramatic, right? I guess. If it was because it was a car accident, there might be more understanding. But here, in this very case, they died from wanting to live experiences that no one else can live, and spending an enormous amount of resources for thrills or for the prestige of living that experience. And because of that, because of the context, my sympathy runs a little dry for these people. I'll give you an example. Imagine you are in the Middle Ages. Let's say you're a peasant. You're part of the rabble. You don't know how to read. You don't know how to write. You do your best to feed yourself. You scrape for scraps just to feed yourself, just to eat. And then there's a tragedy, guys. There's a tragedy. And the tragedy is the king died from eating too much. I did some research, okay? I looked up king who died from eating too much just to illustrate this example. So here we have Henry I. This king died of... He fell ill. He ate too many lampreys, which is like eels, against his physician's advice. And then he died from eating too much lampreys. So if you have rich people who die from an expenditure of resources, yeah, I don't feel that bad. A king who dies of eating too many eels while his population are literally peasants, I don't feel too bad for that king. Do you guys feel bad for the king who ate too much? Do you feel bad for the aristocrats who died of morbid obesity because they ate too much off the backs of the labor of the peasants? No, fuck them. They can die that very, that they can die that death because the very reason they're in that position to die of that death comes from a lot of suffering. Those poor eels. Yeah, don't feel bad for the king. Feel bad for the eels. These eels who attach on their prey to suck their blood. Still less parasitic than kings and CEOs. So that's basically it. I just want to talk about the class dynamics. Don't feel bad for aristocrats who die because they decide to go on an expensive trip that was life-threatening. The reason why it was life-threatening is because it was very exclusive, and they were seeking that exclusivity. Because if it's exclusive, then it's of course restricted to rich people. So the more exclusive it is, the richer the people have access to it. It's all about prestige. It's all about how often consumption is not necessarily about the consumption of the product or the commodity or the service itself or the experience. It's about the prestige that it gives you.